Hey there, curious minds. Ever wondered what truly fuels your day-to-day grind? I'm not talking about the fancy title on your business card or the repetitive tasks that fill your hours. No, I'm talking about the real essence of what you bring to the table, the tangible impacts you make, the unseen threads you weave into the fabric of society. In today's video, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of work. From the evolution of the service sector to the rise of jobs that seem, well, completely pointless. We'll explore why so many of us feel trapped in roles that don't seem to add any real value, and what that says about our economic systems. We'll be taking a trip down memory lane to Soviet communism, and fast-forwarding to our current capitalist landscape, all while injecting a healthy dose of humor to keep things light. Whether you're a barista, a middle manager, or someone navigating the corporate labyrinth, this video is for you. So sit back, relax, and let's unravel the mysteries of our modern work life together. Ready? Let's get started. The evolution of the service sector. Let's take a journey back to yesteryears, where the landscape of employment underwent a metamorphosis, shifting from a mosaic where service roles were mere slivers to a panorama where they reigned supreme, encompassing a staggering 80% of the workforce. Now, when we conjure images of service, we might envision the barista crafting our morning elixir, the retail wizard summoning the perfect garment from the depths of the stockroom, or the porter whisking our luggage to our temporary abode. These roles may seem like frivolous indulgences to some, yet the essence of their labor radiates a distinct value. A steaming cup of joe to kickstart your day, a fashion-forward ensemble to elevate your style, or luggage swiftly delivered, sparing you the need for a post-travel physio session. In this bustling ecosystem of services, every cog plays a vital role, every gesture a brushstroke on the canvas of convenience. So, the next time you're asked, what do you do for a living? Remember, your contribution, no matter how subtle, enriches the tapestry of human experience. The service sector's expansive reach. Here's the scoop. The service sector isn't just a narrow alley. It's a bustling metropolis that welcomes everyone from call center hustlers to big shot CEOs. Nowadays, scoring a gig beyond these borders is like searching for a unicorn, mainly because many roles demand fancy certificates just to get a foot in the door. Why is this tidbit worth tucking away for future reference? Because it holds a clue to a puzzling phenomenon: the explosion of self-serving jobs that seem to serve no one but themselves. You'd think the almighty market, with its invisible hand and all, would swiftly sweep these folks aside, rewarding efficiency and giving the boot to those who contribute zilch. Right? Wrong. And to unravel this mystery, let's dive into the intricate dance of modern money and how it nurtures the existence of those who toil without true purpose. But before we delve into the complexities of capitalism on steroids, let's take a quick trip down memory lane to Soviet communism. A look back. Soviet communism and the value of labor. Picture this: a land where labor was hailed as sacred, where the word Soviet whispered of workers' solidarity, and where pride in one's toil trumped all else. Welcome to the USSR, where noble labor was the cornerstone of society. Absolutely. Let's delve deeper into these fascinating topics, exploring modern capitalism and its complexities. So we've touched on the service sector's sprawling reach and the enigma of seemingly purposeless jobs within it. But what exactly is behind this curious phenomenon? One crucial factor is the evolution of economic systems and the dynamics of modern capitalism. In today's hyper-connected world, money flows in intricate pathways, often rewarding not just tangible productivity, but also factors like perception, market trends, and sheer scale. Case study: Company A versus Company B. Imagine a scenario. Company A and Company B both operate in the same industry. Company A adopts lean, efficient practices, maximizing output while minimizing costs. Company B, on the other hand, embraces a more bloated structure, employing layers of middle management and redundant positions. In a textbook version of capitalism, Company A should thrive, while Company B struggles to compete and eventually fades into obscurity. But reality isn't always so straightforward. Factors like branding, investor perception, and even sheer inertia can prop up less efficient enterprises, allowing them to linger in the market despite their inefficiencies. The impact of automation and digital technologies. Moreover, the rise of automation and digital technologies has reshaped the nature of work, blurring traditional boundaries and creating new niches. Some jobs that may seem superfluous at first glance serve crucial functions in maintaining organizational hierarchies, managing complex systems, or even just providing psychological reassurance in uncertain times. Soviet communism versus modern capitalism. Now, let's circle back to Soviet communism. The Soviet Union's emphasis on labor as the pinnacle of societal value contrasts sharply with the profit-driven ethos of capitalism. While noble in intent, this fixation on labor sometimes led to inefficiencies and a disconnect between output and actual utility. Worker hoarding, a Soviet legacy. Picture this. Back in the day, when the quest for full employment was all the rage, some folks found themselves stuck in roles that were about as useful as a chocolate teapot. Take factory managers, for instance. They hired hordes of workers, not just because it made them feel like big shots, overseeing a bustling hive, but also because it was the done thing among comrades. Plus, there was this gnawing fear that if they didn't snap up every pair of hands available, they'd be left high and dry when the need arose. David Graeber and the concept of bullshit jobs. Enter the era of worker hoarding. This sounds pretty dramatic, right? Well, it was a real thing. Picture this. Folks getting handed jobs that were about as thrilling as watching paint dry. We're talking endless counting of nuts and bolts, folks. Riveting stuff. Fast forward to today, and while we may not be sporting Soviet-style caps, there are some eyebrow-raising similarities. Cue David Graeber, the anthropologist who stirred the pot, with his book on bullshit jobs. He divided these modern marvels into 5 juicy categories. The flunkies. First up, we got the flunkies. You know, the door greeters, the receptionists, the personal assistants. Basically, the folks hired to stroke egos and make others feel like kings of the castle. Now, don't get me wrong, these roles serve a purpose. But let's face it, a bit of tech wizardry could easily swoop in and steal the show. The duct tapers. Then there are the duct tapers. These are the fixers, the troubleshooters, the ones tasked with patching up problems that could have been nipped in the bud ages ago. Take, for instance, the inventory manager who's knee-deep in spreadsheets when a simple automated system could do the job faster than you can say, stock check. So let me spin you a tale, straight from the pages of Graeber's book. Picture this, a duct taper armed with nothing but determination and a knack for untangling messes finds themselves in a showdown with the bureaucracy. Their nemesis, a supposedly brilliant statistician whose track record is about as impressive as a soggy cardboard box. Yep, turns out this star employee was more like a shooting star, briefly dazzling before fizzling out into oblivion. And who's left to clean up the mess? You guessed it, our trusty duct taper, fighting tooth and nail to right the wrongs before disaster strikes. The box tickers. Now, here's the kicker. The solution to this conundrum isn't always as simple as kicking the poor sap with the useless job to the curb. Because believe it or not, our duct taper might actually be adding some value amidst the chaos. Imagine if they were freed from needless obstacles. How much more could they achieve? But alas, not all bullshit jobs come with silver linings. Enter stage left, the box tickers. Picture an army of drones diligently ticking boxes to keep the corporate machine chugging along. Their mission: making the company look squeaky clean to the outside world. Take, for instance, those folks churning out internal company newspapers. You know the ones, filled with stories about executives and events that no one gives a hoot about. But hey, it's all about appearances, right? Because without these smoke and mirrors, a company might as well wave a tiny white flag of surrender in the cutthroat world of business. The goons. Now, brace yourselves, because we're about to dive headfirst into the murky depths of the bullshit job hierarchy. The goons. Let's delve into the intriguing realm of goons, a term that affectionately refers to jobs that, despite their negative impact on society, manage to finagle their way into necessity just by, well, existing. Take, for instance, those in-house corporate lawyers. Now, don't get me wrong, these folks aren't exactly churning out tangible products, but heaven forbid you find yourself in a legal pickle without them. Imagine the chaos and financial woes of having to wrangle external counsel every time a legal storm brews on the horizon. But wait, it gets juicier. Enter the patent trolls. Picture this. Companies with deep pockets snatching up generic patents like candy, and then unleashing a legal frenzy, hoping to bully others into settling out of court. It's like a real-life game of Monopoly, only with way higher stakes. Even the big dogs aren't immune to this negative-sum game. Remember when Apple went toe-to-toe with Samsung over a patent for a rectangle with rounded corners? Now, pause for a moment and ponder. Amidst all the legal jousting, what real value is being created by the army of folks whose sole purpose was to enforce that ruling? But wait, there's more. Beyond the legal eagles, we've got the lobbyists pulling strings to rewrite the rules of the game, and the slick salespeople who dance between companies, acting as glorified middlemen in the grand scheme of things. It's like a never-ending game of corporate chess, where everyone's trying to outmaneuver the next player. The taskmasters. Hold on to your hats, because we're about to dive into the realm of the taskmasters. Think of them as the puppet masters of the corporate world, pulling strings without actually adding much value. You know, the middle managers and administrators, whose claim to fame is riding the coattails of other people's hard work. Picture this. Two people are sweating it out, battling the same task. One is grinding away at a snail's pace, while the other is speeding through it like a hare on a caffeine rush. Naturally, you'd expect the turtle to get the boot, right? Well, not in this wacky world. The tortoise might just be milking the system, putting in more hours for less output. Now, you'd think this sort of nonsense would be a rare find, but trust me, it's more common than you might think. Fast forward to today, and we've got whole armies of folks assigned to roles that seem more like busy work than actual productivity. You've got your everyday managers, then there are the bigwigs whose job is to shuffle and restack the bureaucratic deck. And let's not forget the high flyers who flit around the globe, like monitoring the goings-on in the lower ranks. It's like a never-ending game of corporate musical chairs, where the only thing that changes is the seating arrangement. But hold on to your seats, because things are about to get even more interesting. Meet the flunkies, box tickers, and goons. These roles might seem trivial, but they play a vital part in the modern work culture. Exploring self-serving jobs. Curious about self-serving jobs? They have minimal direct value, but maintain the status quo and hierarchy. Let's delve into why these roles persist. A deep dive into their nature reveals a paradox. They thrive in the spaces created by bureaucracy, inefficiency, and the constant churn of corporate life. Why do these jobs persist? Despite seeming pointless, these roles endure due to factors like economic systems, corporate culture, and psychological needs. Think of it as a corporate version of the butterfly effect, where even the smallest flutter of a useless job can set off a chain reaction of events that ripple through the entire organization. And if you think these roles are on the verge of extinction, think again. As long as there's a hierarchy to climb and a system to navigate, there will always be room for a little bit of fluff in the corporate machine. In conclusion, as we journey through the labyrinth of modern employment, it's evident that the landscape of work is more complex than it appears. The rise of the service sector, and the proliferation of roles that might seem superfluous at first glance challenge our traditional notions of productivity and value. David Graeber's exploration of bullshit jobs sheds light on the paradoxes within our economic systems. From flunkies and duct tapers to goons and box tickers, these roles often serve hidden functions, maintaining the intricate balance of corporate ecosystems. They might not produce tangible goods or directly generate revenue, but their presence helps sustain the structures and hierarchies of modern workplaces. In examining these roles, we also uncover the psychological and social dimensions of work. Employment is not just about output, it's about identity, purpose, and the intricate dance of human interactions within organizations. The persistence of these jobs highlights the need for deeper introspection into how we value labor and the underlying mechanisms that drive our economies. So, next time we encounter a seemingly pointless job, let's pause and consider the broader context. These roles, however trivial they may appear, are threads in the vast tapestry of our work culture. They reveal much about our society's priorities, challenges, and the ever-evolving nature of work itself. In the end, every job tells a story of individual aspirations, organizational dynamics, and the complexities of human labor in a rapidly changing world. Understanding these stories helps us appreciate the nuanced reality of the modern workforce and the hidden value within even the most unlikely roles.